person on the cover of this book is Janice Morris. She was attacked while sitting on a bench. That happened to me too while I was actually reading a report about the forensics practice in the Netherlands because I was working on the Dutch version of Forensics for Dummies at the time. We were both in our 40s. Janice was perceived as being vulnerable or disabled, and I, because I was working from home and nobody knew me, apparently was perceived the same way, somebody who was vulnerable and hence easy to target without fear of repercussions. This sort of cruelty is completely accepted in English culture. This has something to do with this stupid class system. Otherization is part of English culture. And that has resulted in a lot of heartache and heartbreak, unfortunately. In England, in Britain, people have the impression that other people do certain things. Other people are sexist and misogynist, but violence against girls and women is actually more prevalent in the UK than in other countries. They have this idea that other countries violate human rights, but human rights violations are actually pretty common in the UK. This is otherization. It's only other people who do things. Other people are bad. We are okay. Other people should not receive any favors. We protect our own kind. And this, protecting your own kind, comes from inequality, the feeling that there's not enough to go around for everyone. The inequality in the UK is so massive that it used to pull down the figure for equality down for the entire EU. Politicians whip up hate against all kinds of minorities, migrants and so on, spout all sorts of lies about people like me, migrants, in order to gain votes. They promise voters that they will protect them against the evil represented by people like me, even though there's absolutely no grounds for any of that. Just like, for example, the Brexit dividend of 350 million per week that didn't exist. It's very hard not to start to drift and get angry and upset and frustrated with this. Unfortunately, other countries now wrestle with the same issues. Brazil, Argentina, of course, the United States, but to my utter disbelief, the Netherlands as well, with Geert Wilders ranting and raving against people like me. Geert and I speak the same dialect, probably. We're from the same province, we grew up in the same province. I think he's 3 years younger than I am. And he's ranting and raving about people like me. What can I say? I guess I can keep preaching about kindness and inclusivity, and pointing out that we all have a lot more in common than what sets us apart. But that's very hard to believe when you're struggling to pay the bills because your own government is very deliberately keeping you poor so that you remain powerless.